The program today, they can look inside President Bio in 4 year in governance, waiting the government on do so far for the people of Sierra Leone. And at the studio this morning, I want to welcome we studio guest them where they can look at this topic. First, I want to introduce the chairman and leader for the National Grand Coalition, NGC, winner Dr. Dennis Bright. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We're also going to the studio this morning, the National Publicity Secretary for the Sierra Leone People's Party, SLPP, Lawrence Lima. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mabel. Good morning, listeners. Thank you for being here.
Well, we already introduced the topic for this morning as President Bio in led administration take up office inside April 2018 after the National Electoral Commission NEC been announced say he win the 2018 presidential election. And now the new direction manifesto the president being used for Kana power. Also, he be make promise them as to waiting he go do for Salon people where he be president. Well, but 4 years down the line, today the democracy want for no waiting this Bio-led administration don't do for Salon people And for the purpose of this program, we want for focus particularly on issues we get for do with directly Salon people and among them and there we get the living condition of the people political inclusion, infrastructure, rule of law, and other one them. As we don't introduce we studio guests them now the program. We first person where we talk about the program this morning na Lawrence Lima, we na the National Publicity Secretary na the Sierra Leone People's Party as the Bio-led administration come from the SLPP. They can tell listeners them waiting they don't do so far inside the past 4 years where this administration don't de napa. So Lawrence Lima, the ball then I cut now. Let you start for tell listeners them inside the past 4 years. Firstly, how you go describe the Bio-led administration, how you go describe them to Salon people, especially when you take into consideration what the government don't do for the living condition of Salon people, how you go describe the governance?
Well, one for say, so far the government don't really accomplish most of the tax or promises we make to the people of Sierra Leone. In so far for improve the livelihood of we people them and also keep the country going. And so I want to say, assessing it from within this 4 years perspective, President Bio don't achieve, if not 100%, but 90% of his promise to the people of this country.
All right, 90% you say President Bio accomplish of the promises them way they make to Salon people. And well, before we can go into details as to how you get to that calculation, they say 90% accomplishment for President Bio administration. Like I just being Dr. Dennis Bright inside, he come out of the National Grand Coalition. On ourselves done the monitor, waiting on the happen as part of the governance structures and waiting President Bio-led administration don't do inside the past 4 years. How the NGC describe President Bio in leadership inside the past 4 years?
Well, since we talk about the people, the program as you introduce them, now the kind of impact we the administration, the work we don't get on the lives of the people of this country. Me go tell you say, waiting most people and they talk about now the hardship in the country, and we as NGC we've been done try for do a lot for document in very very simple way how hardship they increase in a Salon. So on the whole, and we will go into details later, but making tell now say the people and they grumble a lot about the living conditions within the park.
Lawrence Lima saying 90%, looking at the living condition of the people or improving the living standard of Salon people, we talk about thing for eat, side for sleep, is movement of the people for fend their hand to mouth. You say una don't achieve 90%. What are some of the things way you go call say una don't complete we make up of this 90%?
Well, firstly, we understand say people and livelihood situation a broad one, and no government all the way they can tell you say they target everything, but government can forget to call a set plan where now you manifesto. And out of the manifesto today, you get for prioritize certain things then where you want to accomplish what the president been do. The president, when we start initially, we get up to 18 to 21 priority programs, and we get with first retreats where we able for reduce them to 8, and from 8 we also go further for reduce them to 3. And out of that 3, we able for prioritize education as the hub for able for build on the human capital development, and also we look at agriculture and health. And when you take a look at education, which the president or this government been talk about delivering on free quality education in first 3 months when we even inherit this country, when the economic situations be really in shambles, donors then don't turn back from this country. We're able to make sure we get some sound economic policy reforms and also develop, improve on revenue generation. We're able to give government the capacity for able to roll out the free quality education program. And also because of the economic reforms, then they're able to attract the donor bodies them again for refocus budgetary allocations, or even help government in terms of resource allocation for help government with them programs. So that be able to help on the free quality education programs. And also taking a look at agriculture. The president don't inspire so much because he see agriculture as one of the base. We're going for help and for achieve what you call revenue for able to do this economic diversification, for able to achieve the economic diversification program. So you see agriculture as the pathway, and therefore encourage citizens for able to see that path, and also empower the ministry self where they in charge for able to develop policies them way able for encourage farmers them for able to engage in production. And for make you also for achieve this, you also get for improve on the road networks. What in this government don't do as well now for try for connect even bridges, roads same way difficulties be done they forget commodities and for able for access the market. As I sit down had the talk, the roads that would lead to international markets then like the Kwendu areas in the Balamuya, these are roads and way constructions they go on with the think of reviving the Kwendu market. These are all programs that we government undertake in terms of also improving on agriculture, tractors, and other agricultural implements them way government do able for make sure so they don't reach out to farmers them. Then don't even encourage private investment into the agriculture arena. This year or the year we just die out, we get a lot of rice farming where people are not able for even harvest. Government they see the need for also tap into that area for come with a lot of combined harvesters for able for help farmers them for able for cultivate them products. For harvest them products the way then they produce. And a lot of people also they engage in cash crop productions and also seed multiplication and also even giving seeds to people. These are areas in terms of health as well. Health now one of the areas that they again where governments don't make sure say it don't improve on now. The government promised for like give 15% from 8 to 7 to 8% to inherit. Government be done the work towards achieving the 15% budgetary allocation. Even though we not reach that target yet, but we talk about 11 to 13% achievement of budgetary allocation to the health sector and also other development programs and way the government will achieve in terms of employment and also cleaning the payroll and ensuring that we employ health service workers. First we don't get health service worker employed up to 4,000. There has been an approval for 3,000. We then get for the do by 1,000 on a yearly basis.
Look at the people and well body. Let we start, as we say, the living condition and standards of the people and the thing them waiting forget first for it before they get the well body way you be not me explain but waiting governments don't do now the health sector. Let me go back to one thing when you start for talk about we get for the agriculture. You make mention of tractors, them rice farming where you say the president be don't encourage people them for go into. Now us impact or difference the thing the way these governments don't do per agriculture, don't make now the lives of Stallone people and taking into consideration the cost of seeing them in a market.
Well, in terms of cost, it's a global issue. First of all, we have to give this government a tap on the back when we talk of the outbreak of corona. Let nobody not underestimate them, especially with Sierra Leone, a net importing country. We all think where they eat depends on waiting people and the import into this country. And with the advent of corona, where they affect the world, we're not just like Ebola, we're now within the Mano River Union BCBD, but corona they talk about affecting the whole world supply chain. And even with that, government able to put sound economic policy also livelihood policies for make sure say the impact of the corona no affect the people them, yet people then still able to get access to commodities in the market and also create that peaceful atmosphere for let people then go about their normal business, able for make sure say then sustain their living. Now coming for look at how also this the impact on people them. The government, even with the impact of the corona, not ever short for pay salaries to workers and also provide donation to people them we not able for we not vulnerable people them we not able for get access for able for get employment for salary. So these are all steps we government don't take for able for improve on the livelihood of people. In terms of our cultural development, like I tell you, a lot of people engage in rice production where a lot of wastage be there because of the harvesting, and government they look forward for get combined harvesters for make sure say we're not able to get them wastages, then they if we're able for harvest all of them rest productions that what they do, we're able to get enough now the market. Some will engage in cash crops. Cash crops, you're not able to achieve in 2 or 3, 4 years time. Perhaps like with the improved varieties that we've done, the minimum time length where they look at for begin achieve that, it will take you something like 5 years.
Make a holiday quick. Lahai Lawrence Lima and Kanto, Dr. Dennis Bright, we other studio guest. Dr. Dennis Bright, don't listen. Lahai Lawrence Lima don't talk about policies, don't talk about what he said they don't achieve in 3 to 4 years time. And the National Grand Coalition don't they do a survey na market for see the living condition of the people. For Muna survey them, then policies and laws and reforms them in any way reflect the living condition of the people.
We are they listen to me, younger brother, Lawrence, Lailima they talk. I wonder if they realize the people and they listen to her. Because right now the people that they listen to her, they go tell like na mock you, they mock them based on the kind of life we then they live. That we on work we done they do now from March 2018. Now we done they go now they market them. We dey monitor the prices of commodities them and how then they go up, and up. We don't do about 7 or 8 of them surveys. Then they do it regularly. So if you see now, you go see the graph how prices then they rise, but then the people them income virtually they remain stagnant. That's one of the ways then that what they take for know how things they get difficult in this country. Not just the people the way they consume, no more they complain. Even the people the way they do business safe, they complain how things they tranga. If you go to a place like Equa Street, you go see some place they don't they lock because people are not able to make ends meet. Somebody just tell me about this GST and then 15%. See, in fact, then they get meetings safe now. Or we get for do with taxation and how they squeeze some of the business people. But for come to concrete things them, because not a policy people and they eat. And you can peel out all the policies that we don't do. Not to that people and they eat. People they want for know exactly how all the entire way you see they do, they affect their life, their daily life. When they wake in the morning, waiting and they get them picking them for it. Now that now we interested in. Because let me make no mistake, non-government no go come, we go there for 1 year self, they not do nothing. Government all over the world, we then put them in a work, then get for work. But now whether the work way they do, it they make a difference in people in life, now that's what they assess.
So then police then they don't work inside this 4 year?
If you ask the people them, then go tell you. Different things the way they don't do. Like take one, they talk about agriculture. I hear beaucoup things, seed multiplication, tractor, this and that. Me go on for ask what happen with Tomabom. Tomabom would hear but all this while, in fact, they don't show pictures then. Now somebody they tell me the other day, see the machine them, tractor and whatever we then get it, they don't put na the ground this so now. We they not the user. This Tomabom. Where they don't ring now, you stay pass after 4 years, they can be very proud for tell you say, well, we don't import Boku rest back. We be mean say by now they're not going to bluff we with ship load of rice. So about the road network and how all that don't help agriculture, but we know they see them in the daily lives of the people. This nine are the problem. So for me, I think earlier, some time ago, I came to this program, I don't make this comment. Where like they talk about the manifesto and the 90% or 100% where they don't deliver on the manifesto. Maybe this is a lesson where all government them from now on for learn from. That your manifesto it get for be adjusted to the needs, the felt needs of the people. The priority of the government, it get for coincide with the priority of the people. If that connection they not there, you go find out, say, you go to clap for yourself, you go congratulate yourself, say, I don't achieve everything I mean. One moment, I don't achieve everything I mean manifesto. But then the people are still the grumble. And you wonder why then they grumble where I don't deliver all what I say. Now because that connection they not there between waiting the people they want and what you say na your own priority.
So you think say the new direction manifesto no they in line with the need or felt need of Shalom people?
Well,
is that the case?
Look inside there no more. You go see them for yourself. Because if the new direction, the bluff now say they don't achieve 100% within them say they go do, me not in any position for saying a lie. That they don't achieve her. But why people in the grumble now, like how they grumble so in this country? And this grumble, they are not to one part of the country, do. Everywhere in the country you go. You go na Bo, you go na Kenema, you go Kailan, you go Pendembu, you go Tabaka, you go Kono, every side.
So like you say earlier on, I don't do surveys now different markets them for the past 7 to 8 reports them where you say una don't poll inside this 4-year period. Any difference there in terms of the living condition of the people? And when I see any variation towards improvement?
You know, say the prices them where if you see the graph, sometimes in day some of them can go high, sometimes they drop back. You know, now exactly how we see them, that's what they put her. But when you look the general, you find out say all now on the increase today. But what we can do, I don't know if now they follow what you can do, not to just the prices, the normal they look. We can take, like for instance, a typical family of 4, and we take say somebody where they work, and they get the minimum wage. How we go able to feed a family of 4? That is papa, mama, and 2 pikin. And we know say beaucoup family they will get, especially the low income families, then big pastor. But we can take that family of 4. What we'll discover is that if they spend, like right now, according to some of the prices they will get this 2022 year, if they spend the 600,000 where then they get, this government now increase the minimum wage from 500,000 to 600,000. But if they use that 600,000 they for feed themselves alone, now only 8 days, now in that money did they end. That they not pay for transport, they not pay rent, they not buy clothes, they not do nothing. Right. Now only 8 days now they last for. So now that now just one of the ways then where you're able to see how people in the suffer. And not to just people and we not get money no more. Even the person where they earn safe instead of the grumble. But if na lie they lie, the people where they listen to this radio, then go able for judge.
Lahai Lawrence Lima, looking at some of the things that we don't achieve and the way you don't mention as an achievement and the investments where you don't talk about in the area of improving the living condition of the people. In any way, the government they check if this investment they get impact on the living condition of the people.
But definitely, government gets a team where actually they do a survey for know how this the impact on the people then. And the reason why Doc they mention I say the people at the grumble now because of the misinformation. because doctors have the constraint for putting ideals there because it's not able for really pierce into a policy reforms that we government don't make it.
So
They say no, they like talk say, let address some of the issues that we raise. Talk say no to policy people that it, but if you not got the right policy framework, then there is no way you're going to implement.
So you think certain policy don't impact on the people and living
definitely, definitely. If they talk about, let's say you paying people, somebody 600,000 loans, you get a family of 4. Now you get a family of 4. That family of 4 we get if then they go school, they're not going for pay school fees. Yeah, they get a very minimum amount when they pay for transportation. They get core textbooks them where government don't provide. You don't understand, and so that's alone now a burden where government don't pull commot pan some of them parents and the parents that will get girl picking the way they go school, especially the one that way they do sciences. When you pass your science, you pass your secondary school education and you're able for pursue science, you not get for pay university fees. So government don't do a lot for take away the burden where at least it not go be too much it not go put too much of pressure on that small money where you to get. So when we come now, you doing survey on price increase and you talk about decrease in price. This now for tell you how sincere and committed the government they. Also, way government don't pull taxes on so many commodities that were very essential to the livelihood of people in this country. So not a government get for go take money, go put on somebody in pocket. Now it make the right environment, the secured environment and safe environment is created so that people get for go about for try for maybe for make sure say they're able for earn their living. We understand clearly say government's not able for employ everybody and government's not the principal body way they provide employment for people and so now that make government they work for improve their social amenities and where they even encourage investment like electricity generation. Take for instance when we take over governance, we been get fluctuations even though the problem we always say don't totally stabilize. We get fluctuations in terms of electricity distributions or energy supply. Now there's huge problem beyond the energy ministry takes step through some of the reforming policy measures the way this government don't take up for able for check waiting are some of them problems and you will find out say the energy minister or three ministry don't able for work for make sure say then do a survey for even check on distributions and even expanding on the network, especially where the city self they grow. So today we know they say we get total our 100% light, but at least we get some sustainable light our electricity generation. Now we will also look at even the MOU or the agreement where government don't go sign with this transnational energy supply plant where government don't sign with Ivory Coast. Even that self they able for also help for provide electricity generation. All of them are put together. It will encourage investment because if investment, private investment get for Ghana, any country, then they look at the light facility way actually they or way affordable for time for engage in the industrial development way an alternative than they will go for help. Government for able for employ people them.
So but Lima, inside 4 year governments from the SLPP perspective when are convinced when are able for stabilize the living condition of people them?
Definitely. In terms of living the price increase we make reference to now say it affects people and livelihood. Now this country of course except he not follow international news, but I'm very sure he's following international news and he has to be very honest with the people of this country. That increment in prices not only Sierra Leone. In fact, Sierra Leone they try when you check other countries and within the sub-region, Sierra Leone get relatively cheaper prices in terms of the service that they deliver to people in this country. Check even in the UK, they don't get about increment in price in prices. You go to the US, then get increment in prices. Where even the world news they talk say ever in the history of the United States, this is not the time where actually they don't get increment in prices of commodities people. But this not because of the corona where it affect the supply chain. They side away then commodities and they come out because of lockdowns. They're not they produce, so there is gap, and that's the actually affect or the impact the flow of commodity supplies in the market, and that therefore affects it therefore affects prices. If dog can't sit down, you will find as a dog they even strain for putting ideas because it really no one for because it in our position and no one for commend the effort where government they make for able for still sustain their livelihood for people and let people able for get their way for go about achieving a livelihood. We know so not to everybody employed. And I make we say the government gets a scheme where actually they help for give microcredits like the Munafa Fund to business people them over and above all vulnerable people them when not able for do business. Government also they provide cash transfer through the donor help or donor assistance, government they provide cash transfer to some of them people and they. And government, because of the revenue generation against all of these as well, government not on lacking in terms of paying salaries. So when we talk of livelihood, these are all the factors where you check. And if you also check of even in terms of infrastructural development, from this period, this 4 years period, you see say there is high demand for building materials. If the economy or the revenue is not really flowing, people will not be going ahead building. So this is all how for make you able for no say the livelihood of people, they get some positive impact.
Earlier, you be make mention of the minimum wage where Dr. Bright been say, according to the survey them way then they do, the 600,000 just for feeding, now 8 days they take for a family, and you be make mention of earlier say, that's not true because you explained say government don't reduce the burden on people so waiting for the pay transportation don't reduce. School facilities them government they provide some books them for the government's perspective, and you they come from the SLPP way now they currently in a par the 600,000 minimum wage where Dr. Bright says they do for 8 days for people how on they look the 600,000 they do for upkeep a family of 4, for example.
But that's why but that's the minimum wage where you look at. It not necessarily means
into consideration bag of rice, the cost of and other thing them for it.
It not necessarily means because they say 600,000 minimum wage. That is what a good number of the country's population they receive as a salary.
But I go tell you, a good number of the country population they receive minimum wage and even lesser.
Over and above that, the government equally so they encourage people and will not get access for even get that 600,000 minimum wage. Foresee also the pathway of agriculture as a viable path. When you go to countries like Uganda, largely waiting then depend on agriculture. In areas which I, of course, you know, even gets like facilities and like this way, so the government go to provide for people or even assist people of the nature. The people then largely depend on farming, and in fact, you define and say it difficult for like somebody even get access for buy in company in your own. So then they feed on waiting and they produce. We get an agricultural land and the land really fertile. Government equally so they help.
How they happen as salon currently. That comparison where they make to other countries they happen as salon currently.
Like
where the people they farm to an extent where for buy you company yourself you get you.
That is why government they encourage Sierra Leoneans for citizens for see agriculture also as an alternative means for able for diversify the economy. The provision they like even governments they are under the youth scheme program and also the TVET program. First of all, government they even train people for not just only engaging in farming, but even how you for process for the value addition, and at the same time, government they also provide seeds where then they able for help farmers them will then seize the day. So government they provide also machinery able for facilitate the work of farmers, and people can form themselves in cooperative and also see that pathway for able for make sure say then get then diversify their livelihood in terms of providing revenue for take care of themselves and their family.
If governments they provide all this service as you say, what's in the tap government for produce enough rice for tap importation in the country? As Doc earlier asked, what's in the happen to the Tomobom rice?
Because government they on the process. You know, see we all see president.
How long? So before the rice begin produce?
What you go do? You go call the line ministry, make it come sit down there and tell you how far. What's not the status of the Tomobom? How far they don't go with them. I'm giving you a general perspective of steps them with government and the leadership of government don't take for make sure say able for deliver on a manifesto. And in so far, like I tell you now, I say. This not to don't forget about Tomabo, the individual rice cultivation self where people and they take up, just like where even government talk and a parliament say one of the requirements for even people and getting public appointments, you get for engage in farming. Quite a good number of public servants then don't engage in rice production. Individual citizens and don't engage in rice production to the extent, in a very large scale, to the extent that I don't tell you say harvesting also become a problem. Where it means people are even waste rest. So because of that, government don't think of buying at least 15 combined harvester. We go for make sure say some of them wastages that where people can get in terms of harvesting not able for happen in the next rice farming season.
Now you earlier talk about agriculture and the ease movement of the people, and you talk about infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about infrastructure under President Bill-led government, people can ask, what's the infrastructure there? And in terms of roads.
You're talking about construction of bridges. where at least some areas and the way you been get ferry they cross, sometimes and the ferry go broke down. People then go constrained for cross commodities and where they behind their areas and it becomes a problem for access the market. So in their areas and the waiting government don't do it don't do invest for able for make sure say it build bridges for able for take that burden on this ferry breakdown or ferry not the cross.
Who said them bridges are they?
You go to places like Tabaka, outside and get crossing points. You go to how you call this one where they go Moyamba. There was one area outside. Of course, they use that ferry where they don't construct bridge there. Even the one from Moyamba Junction where they go also a lot of bridges then because
Tabaka still get ferry.
But there has been a bridge construction where they go because of the time where we are informing for Kamnaya yesterday unable for do enough research for able for give you point by point, line by line, we say government don't construct bridges, but I will tell you, say government don't do a lot for able for connect them roads and they also constraints them don't do in terms of connections.
So Dr. Dennis Bright now, we don't begin discuss the thing them way the NGC thinks say the SLPP led administration on the inside the past 4 years, especially where you look at the living standard of people. Them Lilo and Slim herself don't talk. Waiting you know say government don't do so far for improve that. As we continue the discussion, we hear about a year to the next general elections for the NGC. And I think say this administration don't fail the people of Sierra Leone or hope still there for people them.
This administration, administration of paradoxes.
What do you mean?
Okay, now big word and the that is if FIBA like I say, but not FIBA like I say.
It means the
FIBA like I say. Because when you make a talk so, then can talk one thing, then can do something where you feel saying at this direction they go, but at the same time, then can do some other thing.
Give me one example.
Okay. Leo left this hardship first what they talk about. So other things then they. Now, you know that law, we didn't see the repeal, that criminal libel law. We didn't pull come out. When that law they use for clamp down on people where they talk, opposition people where they talk. Then don't pull them. We're all glad. The whole country blow a sigh of relief. But waiting that actually happen now. We don't know whether now under the cyber crime they don't bring and come back. But we see the wave of arrest and detention of political opponents and just increase.
For example.
For example. Mr. Seven call me for go be ask me question because of my opinion what I express.
How you express that?
So, Lawrence, this program now we moderate program. So, no, we
more and more people. More and more people. So then, if FIBA like I say, then don't remove her also. But then we can see the way then they arrest people then. Enough FIBA like I say. You get the other one again. Then they talk about the women empowerment bill. Then the all man they celebrate them. They don't bring and can't say they don't go. They don't can't talk now, say they go empower women. At the same time when they empower women, then they can't go now parliament. Now that 10 days you see them, more or less they persecute, they run after women them where they in authority. And they talk now about people that like that woman where they say for going to tribunal. I don't know if they don't make the tribunal safe. The accountant general, no, the auditor general, yes. Then the mayor himself, of course, now about treating they don't call and go parliament now and so on and so forth. But you find out that, the way then they handle women, them, you wonder whether now in the same way. So if you are like I say, then they empower women, but you know, if you are like I say, by the way you see them, I can give you other one day.
But
I go tell you now the fight against corruption. If you are like I say, no, so we didn't say in the fight against corruption. You get that transition reports, the COI, everything. In fact, you find out, see, the ACC, they get a lot of accolades internationally, MCC, they can always quote MCC and everything, no, so. But we can look the audit reports now, waiting they come out. You look the Africanist press. where they not they even refute anything Panam. You look even the ACC then self where they talk so you get certain cases the way they're not able to handle.
Such as?
That 49,000 bag rest.
Mr. Bright.
The 49,000 bag rest, then still able for solve them.
Explain what you mean by Ifiba Lekese, but when you look at them again, not
Ifiba Lekese.
You think say the government of Sierra Leone currently they treat the issues of national interest with utmost seriousness, taking into consideration the thing that we don't make mention of.
Exactly. For me, I believe say the problem with this government gets, then they listen more to themselves than to anybody else.
Why you think so?
Well, you can see the long list of things that we Lima don't bring Canada, so for sure say we
realistic things.
We life don't improve. For sure say the people their life don't improve. You see, they are dancing with happiness, see they don't achieve this. But then the people the way they listen, now different things than they feel. So you find out say we on party we they talk from the point of view of the people then because we they closer to the people there. They're very busy with the policies and everything. So, we they closer to the people and we they try to give feedback on what the people and the experience. So even for interesting, if then they take them feedback, then they seriously. Rather than as soon as you bring the feedback to them, then can begin read a long list of waiting them.
We want to cover to Lima, but quickly before we go to Lima, inside 4 years, you give this administration a pass, fail, or allowed to.
With me?
Yes, from NGC.
Me, I don't want to do anything like that because they are, to that kind of teacher they pass, fail, or allowed to pass. So
they're not for honor standard. How you go describe them?
We need another program because I feel say they don't fail.
Okay, so
as far as me concerned, they don't fail woefully because if the people them now you can will not for can talk but yourself. I feel say they don't fail woefully because there was a lot of hope in this administration. So there's a lot of hope in this administration, but they don't fail people.
So, Doc, let me look at the government, and we don't read the reforms them we like Lawrence Siman say they don't do, and also the policies that we don't put in place. And over the years, we don't see plenty investment in the agriculture sector, whether from donor or government. And according to una survey, una say things still hard for people for getting for it. What do you think say the missing link there with all them policies, laws, and investment in sectors?
I believe say one. There is not enough consultation. That's number one. And I believe, say, the government feels say they can do it alone. And a lot of people in there, we don't get experience in governance and in all the areas in there. We still there now with society. I believe, say, they know they use the experience. They know they use the know-how. You understand? The problems of this country can be solved, but they not say the solution they come from one political party or the other political party. You understand? So I believe say we not they use judiciously. We not they use the know-how, the expertise that we did in our society because we they politicize everything. That I feel say one of the problems they will get. Now make we not they get things right. The next thing what I want to say is that this particular government, then they behave as if to say anybody will think differently from them, now the enemy. Like say you hate them or you just not like them or then get that kind of posture there. So now that make we they try for talk now say me believe say them for don't benefit a lot. Even like this research what they do so, then solve what they do so now. If we be able to come, then call me say, "Let can sit down, but what this actually mean?" We will tell them exactly what we find on the ground, right. And probably together we will sit down, we will call some of them people and they for let them tell you exactly what's in the problem. Right now, I didn't at the studio, so somebody call me from Lumley, where they talk about waiting at them problem, them business people and they on this taxation and GST. They explain, but I know if forget and correct. So we are closer to the people and we are able to give feedback on exactly wetin people in the suffer.
Okay, then Dr. Dennis Bright continue for the with me, the program chairman and leader for the National Grand Coalition Party. We come to the National Publicity Secretary for the Salon People's Party, SLPP, Lahai Lawrence Lima. Lahai Lawrence Lima, you don't get from the opposition the disconnection with then alleged say in the government and also lack of consultation make most of the projects them we don't mention the governments in investment they need to reflect on the people from the party standpoint. What's next in terms of solving some of the issues they have?
Okay, I understand talking point clearly. Not to say this government don't achieve. You know, say this government don't achieve a lot. But in problem we get with this government are because this government will take them views on board. And this, I will pass them up to the strategic planners that let them, they engage them, listen to their own views and see how best they go synthesize them views into we own manifesto
program. So the thing away it's talk,
but
nothing away new to Una?
Well, I mean, basically, as far as waiting, all they don't highlight here, these are all things we are, at least in they just present his own perspective about that. But he knows clearly that these are things we have achieved, but because his views not they on board on the things that will achieve for him, now failure. So waiting me go communicate to the strategic planners. Now for Lawi, they actually engage Dr. Bright. So at least let them views that they will see how best to go synthesize that into we own manifesto programs. We're still not going to alter. Waiting we be done promise to the people of this country for deliver on. I want to say this government come now power on a set promises we make to the people. And in so far we don't accomplish much on them promises and the way we make to the people. And in fact, if we, like Michael tell me yesterday, if we can't discuss the legacies of President Bio, I want to say one of the legacies, if President Bio go get for left power, we go remember him with, we go call him Bio the reformer. Because when you, the reason why you reform laws and policies, now for make sure say, you impact positively on the livelihood of your people for able for meet the other challenges them within the globe. Let we also look at revenue generation. What make this government able for do so much on revenue generation now because of enforcement of the law? What make this government they make impact? Well, not they say corruption I think way easy for eradicate, but the impact, even the mindset self, you understand? Now the people in mind say, of course, corruption is working. Now, because of the robust posture where the Anti-Corruption Commission is self-done set up, and not just the impact, not just positive on the people of this country, but even international bodies, you understand, they're able to make sure, say, with the pass certain benchmarks them, even in terms of governance, improvement, access to justice. These are all steps where government they take for make sure, say, people are able to get access to justice and justice is available in terms of the reforms that the government don't make. Women empowerment. It don't mean say because you're a woman in our office, you breach procedures, government not going for. In fact, that shows that the government is very effective. Because if women then they empower you, then at the same time when you breach procedures, the government able for bring calm in administrative tools and for subject you to the rudiments of the laws or policies in the country as much as men they face them, then it shows an effective government is. So in so far as we're concerned, we are not arrogant about our achievement. We are very humble about it, and we will continue for listening where people and views and very necessary for take them on board. We go take them on board. Where we say not necessary, we go see how best we go around them. But as a government, we're very humble and we believe say we don't achieve a lot and we will continue to achieve and deliver for the people of this country. Because now President Bio in determination that day and he continue for work towards that.
All right, Lahai Lawrence Lima, let me just quickly look at few messages where people on send at the program. Good morning, Salon. This very first one, they look at the person, they ask they can, Lahai Lawrence Lima, please tell the public if this government has any regrets as to meeting the expectations of Sierra Leoneans who voted them in the past 4 years.
As to what?
This one from Joseph.
They ask if any regrets as to meeting the expectations of the people who vote the SLPP in.
This one from Joseph. Okay. Maybe.
Hassan on Facebook say, Doc is talking in a relaxed mood while Lima is full of stress in the studio because there is nothing good to talk about. Bakar Banks on Facebook, their policies are only good on paper but not on the masses because they are not implementing what they prescribed on papers.
This one from me, they say Sierra Leone remains among the world's poorest countries, ranking 180 out of 187 countries in the Human Development Index. This has been the situation. Lima, where is the change?
All right, the final I would say because of time, I will sign down then na Facebook say Dr. Dennis Bright, you if you foresee the SLPP don't fail woefully, it means you are not saying the truth. All you are doing is campaign for the NGC party.
This one from the last one from me, they say, Doc they afraid for use the word fail because he afraid for arrest.
Alright, well, from their message, and they will come over to the studio, guest them back, or they come over to Doc as we try for wrap up the program. So I'm moving now towards 1 year, but 1 year we get for another general elections for the people of Sierra Leone. Waiting different the NGC they expect for happen inside this 1 year for this administration in terms of improving the condition of living, for example, of Salon people. Waiting different the NGC they expect.
Me not sure say anything different go happen. In fact, you don't let enough. Not feel say anything could change in them posture. And I want to make the point, one point where Lawrence been make say the people and they complain now because of misinformation, as if to say we they misinform the people. We they go collect data from the people themselves. So we not inform them. The data they emerge from the people themselves.
If you compare them to other countries, then the people will understand them better.
Yeah, so that now one. And then whether we as an opposition say we know they accept the government to do, we know say government must they do something. Not possible let they wake in the morning until they sleep, they not do nothing. But waiting at the point where they make, how waiting then they do, waiting at the impacts, the effect where they get on the people. And you go see from their postings then the way they make, say the people and they try for telling us, say, una totally don't miss the point. Waiting the people and want, una not even listen for do and self. You just fasten by your manifesto and you try for give yourself 100%. So that's not the other thing. So the long and short of it is that me not see anything they change. This government, Lawrence Lima used the word arrogance. Now waiting, you see, we waiting, we humble, we humble about something, but well, I feel say the people then go judge whether on a humble or on arrogant. But as far as me concerned, I want to tell you, say, me not put me name by any strategic thinking or process or whatever. I don't, when me they can ask, not to me ideas there necessarily I bring the ideas them of all the people them who they before meet with. And within our party or the information who they get, now they would put together for get the ideas there. So it's not Dennis Bright's idea as such. Me just the able for bring and come together now and put her across. When I get more people and we get sense past myself and we sabi pass me pam various things they wanna even consult.
Well, even without consult you also pass civic education.
Lawrence Lima messages them, respond to them quickly as time between.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We consult you on civic education.
So I support.
Yeah, so
as far as that one is concerned.
So then that defeats the fact that we are consulting.
Lawrence Lima, can respond to the messages then.
That defeats the fact that we consult. Actually, I don't see much for responding now because those are all views where people will express. We now waiting them feel that's what they're expressing. In terms of me talking in a very exciting mood, that is not because 4 years back or 5 years back, I've been there to the people of this country and let them understand. Say President Bio is the yes, and a lot of other Sierra Leoneans, including international partners, they're happy. That is why today President Bio is the chairman of the African Union of 10 committee members, and at the same time has been appointed also as a chairman of the APRN, a position where one of the lead countries them in Africa don't hold for the past 1 year. Where of course South African president have been the leader of APRN from their President Bio is taking over. This is to tell you that President Bio is not only impacting Sierra Leone, but it's also impacting the world. And it's a leadership we should be proud of.
What about the Human Development Index, where Salon still rates low?
Sierra Leone rates low on the Human Development Index. In fact, I want to tell you, say Sierra Leone are one of the few countries where they actually score the points them way actually they able for make sure say with GDP actually they grow, even in terms of the fact say we don't reduce taxes on certain commodities them, and at the same time the COVID, the impact, we still there above 3 points. We're up to even above 6 to get into 7 points in terms of
country
growth.
182 out of 189.
Say again?
Left this man.
Well, you don't know, say you got a survey, so I don't know
man
whether
gets you, the man is joyful.
I don't know whether
The whole world is happy for us.
Of course. Of course. Even at your home, if you woman the producers or they produce, you're able to provide proper leadership, the beginning and go be happy. That doesn't mean you provide everything for them.
You know what, you go pray for.
You know, when I did at school, like we school can normally produce a very limited number for exams. And at the end of the day, you find out say 70% of women in the send can able make university requirements. Some they make tertiary, other tertiary. Then schools are where they send to very large populations. So the number where they pass not reach like 30. So at the end of the day, you find out say that government we don't. I mean that school we don't send a minimum number they able for perform over. They always send large number. So when you get programs and way very wide, you get for prioritize and able for make sure say you target the best. And when you target the best, it's very impactful. So you see, doc, all of what you doc say now, which point you able for hit.
The government don't make any mistake.
Of course, every administration and every human being bound for make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, you get for learn from them.
Okay, we think so.
Well, except you point them out to me and I see I'm saying it's a genuine mistake.
Many thanks, gentlemen. We're going to get more time for such conversations them at the studio. And I think we're going to the program this morning. We've been getting Dr. Dennis Brett from the NGC and Lahai Lawrence Slima from the SLPP.